President and the First Lady outside the United States for the first time since he began his presidency. Normal relations between the West's top economies have been disrupted by Donald Trump and then by COVID. Now, after 4 years, President Biden says normality could be close and America is back. An image that captured the message: the First Lady's jacket proclaimed love, when Melania Trump famously wore a jacket with the message, "I really don't care."
Everybody's absolutely thrilled to see you.
We're thrilled to meet you. Thrilled to meet your wife.
Yes, and they've gone off to do something else.
They did. I told the Prime Minister we have something in common. We both married way above our station.
Okay, I'm not going to dissent from that one, folks. I'm not going to disagree with the President on that, or indeed on anything else.
They were gazing out at Britain's newest £3 billion aircraft carrier, HMS Prince of Wales, namesake of the ship on which Winston Churchill met President Roosevelt in 1941. When the two men resolved to build back a better world after the Second World War. They were shown the documents from that meeting, Boris Johnson laying on the shared history thick. But this president doesn't like the way Boris Johnson is handling a current row with the EU. The Times newspaper revealed that the Biden administration formally complained last week about Britain's increasingly heated rhetoric on the Northern Ireland Protocol of the Brexit agreement. Boris Johnson was asked if the president had urged him to crack on with seeking a compromise with the EU.
Well, no, he didn't. But what I can say is that the America, the United States, Washington, the UK, plus the European Union have one thing we absolutely all want to do, and that is to uphold the Good Friday, the Belfast Good Friday Agreement. It's wonderful to listen to the Biden administration and to Joe Biden, because there's so much that they want to do together with us, from security, NATO, to climate change, and it's fantastic. It's a breath of fresh air.
A slimmed-down presidential convoy snaked through the Cornish lanes. In the past, Joe Biden has called Boris Johnson a Trump clone. Before they set off to join the talks in Cornwall, EU leaders were hoping the president would push their case on the Prime Minister.
Member states in Europe, they are expressing more and more worries about the current situation, because indeed it's fundamental, it's paramount to implement what we have decided. This is a question of rule of law, which is an important value that we share in common.
Officials from the delegations pace outside the conference hotel, trying to nail down the language of the final communique. President Biden wants others attending here to follow his lead, with pledges of COVID vaccines to countries in need. The Prime Minister's son was brought to the beach for a moment with Carrie Johnson and the First Lady. Host leaders basking in the glow of the visitors from the White House, always used to be a tradition of these summits. He's paused for the Trump years, but is back. So people are wondering, was there a row of any kind in that 90-minute bilateral between Boris Johnson and President Biden? The briefing coming out of number 10 is that there was complete harmony. And we do know that President Biden is an extremely pragmatic, consensus-seeking politician, but complete harmony might be pushing it a bit. We saw that story on the Times today with pretty stern warning to Britain that it mustn't pull out altogether from the process of negotiating how you implement the Northern Ireland Protocol. And yet, it doesn't seem to be the settled position of the British government that they won't, at some point, maybe a point soon, pull out of it. And then the messaging from President Biden in public, perhaps, could get as stern as the messaging that seems to have been delivered in private. But he wasn't going to do that here. He wants this democratic group of countries, the G7, to work. It's Boris Johnson's good luck that these meetings, the G7 meetings, they were slightly falling into disrepair. Lots of senior diplomats thought they were really not much use anymore. But just as we emerge from COVID and from the Trump years, you have a president in President Biden who wants democratic countries to prove they can come together, work together, and this particular grouping is very useful to him. He'd like to expand it. He thinks China is stealing a march on these democratic countries and using vaccine diplomacy and infrastructure spending diplomacy to push its case around the world. He wants countries like the ones attending here tomorrow to fight back with all of that. So it's kind of lucky for Boris Johnson that a gathering like this, which was falling into a bit of disrepair, unloved, has become very relevant to the new president, making Boris Johnson look very relevant to the world.